So in 2008, too big to fail was something everybody heard of. Everybody understood too big to fail and what it meant, and that banks were threatening the economy because they were just too big. And the Federal Reserve, who's responsible for managing the banking system in the United States, I went to a lecture, and Jim Bullard at the St. Louis Fed, I had an opportunity to ask him a question. And I said, what are the smartest people in the room thinking about too big to fail? What is the solution there? And he says, oh, that's a tough one. We really don't know what to do. And I said, I know what to do.
Did you actually say
I did. I said, I know what to do. If you limited FDIC insurance for any and every bank in the United States to $500 billion, I don't think there would be a bank bigger than $500 billion.
Oh, you mean the total of all of their deposits?
Yeah.
Because right now, the FDIC limits is like $200,000 per account.
$250,000 per account, but you can open up 4 accounts, right? There's your account, there's your IRA account, there's your wife's account, there's your 529 account. And so, the theory is that it's about helping the consumer, but in truth, I don't know exactly how big J.P. Morgan Chase is, 2-point-something trillion dollars, and a large portion of that 2-point-something trillion dollars is guaranteed by the federal government. So if you put money there, you're not worried about them failing and not having money to pay you back, because if they do something lousy with the money, making bad loans and buying bad securities, and they lose the money, well, you just dip into the FDIC, and which is the taxpayer, and you get your money back up to those limits. And so my thinking is eliminate the limits. Don't limit it to a $250,000
because you could have one $500 billion deposit, or you could have 50 at much smaller levels. Okay.
And so my theory is that I think if you had a $500 billion limit, in order to get bigger than $500 billion, J.P. Morgan Chase is going to have to convince investors or depositors
that they take on that risk, that
it's okay, don't worry, we'll never fail, we'll never do anything bad, we'll never do anything wrong. There wouldn't be a bank bigger than $500 billion because you wouldn't take that risk. You would say, no, I'm going to put, to use your analogy, my first $500 billion with you, and then I'm going to take the next $500 billion, I'm going to put that at Wells Fargo, or I'm going to put that at BB&T. So you end up in a situation where the market, instead of the government, would determine how big banks could be.
And how did he react to that?
He didn't say a thing to me because I think he understands that would be a very simple solution, but it wouldn't go down well with Jamie Dimon and the other guys that are using that implicit moral obligation of the federal government to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. How hard would it be for you and I to start a business doing anything and say to investors, you give us $1 million, we're going to go out and try and do something great. If we do something great, we're going to give you a share of that in a return. If we lose it, Uncle Sam's got our backs.
Yeah, but that's not entirely how banks work. If they're doing bad loans, if they
get shut down.
They get shut down, or their investors start losing their money. Nobody gets.
Well, the investors lose the money first, right?
Right.
But the depositors don't lose the money.
That's true.
And that's who's funding their loan portfolio is the depositors. The investors only fund 7 to 11% of the asset class, of the entire balance sheet. The rest of it's deposits and notes that they can issue or debt that they can issue. But that's the problem in 2008 was you had a lot of these firms where they let their equity percentages drop lower and lower and lower. So if their huge asset base lost 6% of its value, they wiped out all their equity. That's what happened to those firms.